So guys, we're going back into Mark Waid's Flash run in this video, and actually we'll be going over Green Lantern number 31 and Flash number 70, because this is the second part, or the second half, of the Guerrilla Warfare storyline, alright? Now, all you need to know going into this video is Gorilla Grodd and Hector Heyman, one is Green Lantern villain, the other is a Flash villain, are going against Flash and Green Lantern, alright? And other characters involved is Rex the Wonder Dog. Yep, you heard me correctly. Rex the Wonder Dog is in this storyline. We also got Bobo, aka the Detective Chimp, and we got pretty much the one officer, or the military guy who's watching over Rex the Wonder Dog. So certain heroes, when they're trying to take down Gorilla Grodd and Hector Heyman, because what these two villains want is they're trying to find this third meteor, alright? So Gorilla Grodd, pretty much the backstory is that a meteor came to Earth and he got hit by it, right? Or a bunch of apes got hit by it, but he was the only one who got mind powers, right? To control people's minds, you know, Gorilla Grodd's powers. Now, Hector Heyman found another meteor, the second one, and got his powers. But all of a sudden there's a third one, and they want to get it so they can become ultra powerful and take over the world. But Flash and Green Lantern do not want this. But guys, if you want to see more context in the second half of the storyline, I'll link down below in the description the first half, alright? Which was Green Lantern number 30 and Flash number 69. But if you guys are ready, let's dive into the conclusion of Guerrilla Warfare. Green Lantern and Wally West are together fighting off against all these gorillas, right? That's how we open Green Lantern number 31. Now, we see all these apes, they're like, kill the humans for the glory of Gorilla City. And that's when Green Lantern says, well, Flash, guess we'll have to fill each other in later. And Wally's like, as to why we're both in darkest Africa, you mean, it sounds reasonable. Like, we gotta talk about this. Like, why are we both here at the same time? But that's when Green Lantern says, at least until we get the gorilla army wrapped up. He's like, we'll talk once we beat all these gorillas. And Wally's like, well, that should be a matter of a few seconds. He's like, we're gonna take down these gorillas easy. That's when Hal says, they can't do much against my ring. Nice to see we're on the same wave, pretty much the same page. That's when Hector Heyman comes swinging in, hits Hal Jordan in the back, and Hector Heyman says, did you think you had seen the last of me, Flash? And that's when Wally says, pure wishful thinking, Heyman. But you insist on being humiliated again, all gladly, but that's when Wally's blasted in the back by Gorilla Grodd. And Gorilla Grodd says, well played, my spinally limbed ally. And that's when Gorilla Grodd says it's the only thing that Grodd should fail his old nemesis, the Flash. And Hector Heyman says, well, I fish my old foe, Green Lantern, so it's... although I never have suspected Gorilla of such a sense of poetic justice. And Gorilla Grodd says, we gorillas have far more sense than, and that's when he says, no. And that's when we see Rex the Wonder Dog jump at Gorilla Grodd, and he punches Rex the Wonder Dog far away, because he's like, that Wonder Dog again, you helped defeat me when last I attacked the human world. He's like, you're not gonna get away with this time. And Rex the Wonder Dog says, you can't call a dog anything he hasn't heard before, Grodd. Now save your breath for combat. But that's when Hector Heyman just starts flying away with Gorilla Grodd. And Gorilla Grodd says, I don't need what? And he says, Heyman, you dare. And Hector Heyman says, I can't let you waste your time battling that dog while Flash and Green Lantern may rally their strength. So allow me to use that telekinetic powers I have to carry you in my wake and carry on with our grand scheme. And Gorilla Grodd says, yes. Yes, our grand scheme. And that's when they start talking about the grand scheme to seize a new source of the same unearthly power that made pretty much both of them great mind, get like mind powers, right? Because Gorilla Grodd had great powers to control people, same as Hector Heyman. Now, that's when Gorilla Grodd says, how fortunate for you that I read of you, and sensing kindred powers contacted you to share our knowledge. Now, Hector Heyman says, still, more fortunate for you that I knew the cause of my hyper-evolution was a meteor, which according to old astronomical text, split into 3 upon entering our atmosphere. 1 apparently landing in these jungles and evolving your bears into super apes. The other lying undiscovered in rural California until I chanced upon it. And that's when Gorilla Grodd says, creatures of the same origin. Indeed, of course. My race has had centuries to develop and build our magnificent Gorilla City in the forest, someday to be the capital of the world. And Hector Heyman says, how impressive, Grodd. And to think I had contented myself with mastering the evolutionary ray for such trifling achievements as evolving Green Lantern into a Neanderthal. But that's what Grodd says. I am not without weapons either, Hammond, as Flash can attest. And I at least never enlarged my head or rendered my glorious body useless by misusing my power. But that's what Hector Hammond says. You could not misuse it, Grodd, because you do not know how to use it, which is why you need me. And Grodd says, while you, my dear Hector Hammond, could never find the fabled third meteor, which is why you need me. So they're both trying to validate why they need each other, because both of them at any time could betray each other. That's when we shift and we see this military guy, Dennis, and Dennis says, you okay, Rexy boy? And Rex the Wonder Dog says, I fought worse than super gorillas in my time, Danny. Remember the secret of the golden crocodile? And that's what Wally says, still no trace of Hammond's mental contrail, huh? And he says, so, what put you on his track anyway? And that's what Green Lantern says, nothing, I was on Grodd's track. An ape named Salvard tried calling Flash. Barry, that's an old friend, I guess. You were gone, so I followed up. Now, Wally says, funny, Hammond came after me, so I could tow him super fast across the Atlantic. I got your old enemy, and you got Uncle Barry's. I guess you and Barry used to team up sometimes, now it's like and then Hal says, wait a second, I'm picking up a mental impulse. But that's when Rex the Wonder Dog says, who is he? And Hal says, what? Oh, you and your thought projection. He's startled by Rex the Wonder Dog, and Rex says, sorry to startle you, Green Lantern, but who is this Hammond? And Green Lantern says, I'll never get used to this BAA business. If you want to know more about Hammond, Rex, here's your chance. Now he starts flying off with Rex, Danny, and Wally, and Green Lantern says, because he isn't suppressing his mind power as well as he should, and I've got it set. Now, that's when Wally says, what was that about this BAA Green Lantern? And Green Lantern tells Wally that BAA stands for the Bureau of Amplified Animals, the only U.S. government agency with a chimp for a chief investigator. Now, we see Detective Chimp, aka Bobo. Bobo's pretty much looking at this picture of Grodd. Now, that's when this other guy comes by, and he says, you've been staring at that picture of Grodd for hours, Bobo. And he says, you trying to defeat him by sheer mental power? And that's when Bobo says, just think about Gorilla City, Sheriff. A whole community of intellectual apes like me. What could it be like to be there, to talk to them? I'm not getting any younger, you know. The oldest known ape in the world just died. He was just at Yerke's. Name was Goliath. And he was only 59. And that's when the sheriff says, you're in a melancholy way, Bobo. Maybe we need a vacation back to like a good country to snap you out of it. And Bobo says, maybe. Or maybe I need a business trip. And then the sheriff says, like to Africa maybe? And Bobo he lights up. He's like, yes, let's go. Now, that's when we shift back to Wally West, and he says, oh, it's probably a government agency running on budget. That's when Rex the Wonder Dog says, dang, I thought those budget reports were top secret. And Wally says, hey, that was a joke, and you mean the BAA isn't? And Green Lantern says, sorry, Rex, I know you swore at me a secrecy, but if we're all going up against, and that's when he just starts, his mind just goes blank. And Green Lantern starts falling, and that makes Wally and Rex the Wonder Dog and Danny all start falling to the ground. And we see Gorilla Grodd. He says, I must admit, Hammond, your mental blasts are nearly as potent as my own power of mind. And Hector Hammond says, nearly. I am so flattered, Grodd. Soon perhaps we can compare our powers. But for now, he's like, guide us to the hard darkness. Guide us to the third meteor. He's like, let's go find this third meteor so we can become ultra powerful. Now, Gorilla Grodd says, we're near. I can feel it. Near the Forest of Strange. Its legend has been passed for generations, for gorilla to gorilla. And he says its location only a hint, a whisper, for the beasts hereabouts, avoid in terror. There, look, a plant, the likes of which I've never seen in all my jungle roamings. Keep going, Hammond. Keep going. And that's when Hector Hammond says, silence, Grodd. And he says, you don't have to tell me that. You've never seen the likes of that. The life forms grow stranger as we press on. We must be drawing close to. And then, Gorilla Grodd says, the meteor. And Hector Hammond says, at last, we may have sapped our own meteors through overuse, but this one, untouched by all, but these lowly animals, fairly throbs with power. So they find the third meteor, and we see all these animals just change, guys. They've been morphed into different types, different versions of themselves. Now, Gorilla Grodd says, and with that power, we will conquer the realms of humans and animals alike. And Hector Hammond says, of course, my blind comrade, of course we will. And that's when we shift and we see Green Lantern. I really like this scene, guys. You see Green Lantern, he's knocked out, but Rex the Wonder Dog just comes by and starts licking him to wake him up. Now, Green Lantern wakes up, he's like, ugh, dog germs. And Rex the Wonder Dog says, dogs don't have any more germs than humans do. And that's when Danny says, I thought you were a little more evolved for that, Rex. And Rex says, it's still the surest way I know to wake a human. And Green Lantern says, what happened? And that's when Rex the Wonder Dog says, you were knocked out. But Flash was able to super propel himself ahead of you as well, and build a mattress of leaves and twigs at super speed. And that's what he says to cushion our landing. You, he explained, would be protected by your ring. So Wally pretty much cushioned Danny and Rex's landing, while Green Lantern, he was fine. He just landed on the ground, but his ring protected him. Now that's what Danny says, the mattress wasn't quite deep enough to keep an old man's brittle ankle from breaking, but I'm sure you could carry on without me. But that's when Hal says, didn't you say Rex needed you to project his thoughts to me? But Danny says, no, it's fine. Rex the Wonder Dog knows you, Hal Jordan. He knows about you, and he's fine with working with you. You don't need me to be there. That's when Green Lantern says, okay, but where's Flash? And Rex says, I hear the crackle of the twigs, the brush of leaves. His scent comes to me as if swept on a hurricane. He's coming from that way. And Wally says, Green Lantern, glad to see you're up. And Hal says, glad to see you're so in charge of the situation. Earlier, I was thinking some bad thoughts about your maturity. Maybe I owe you an apology. And Wally says, forget. I'm used to it. Listen, I went looking for Heyman and Grodd and found something else. And Wally shows this lizard that's been transformed into an orange lizard. So it looks pretty dope, guys. But Hal Jordan then says, looks like something Heyman would make with his evolving ray. And that's when Green Lantern makes his bell, this green bell that tells Danny, hey, we're gonna leave you, but if you get any trouble, if you're in any danger, just ring this bell and I'll come save you. So that's when we see Green Lantern, Rex the Wonder Dog, and Wally start going off. But as they're running through this forest, Wally then stops and he's confused. And Hal says, hey, Flash. He's like mesmerized. What is this? I wonder if Rex can. And he looks, and Rex is controlled too. Hal starts grabbing his head, but he's like, no, I will not be controlled. He's like, somebody's trying to take my mind. And then says, it's those plants. Plants with faces. What on earth? And that's when we see Gorilla Grodd and Hector Hammond. And Gorilla Grodd says, on Earth. Oh, yes. From what Earth? No, this is a gift from the stars. To those worthy of receiving it. And Hector Hammond says, this meteor powers these plants in possessing your friends, Green Lantern, but the power of your ring means we must deal with you. That's when we see this battle, and Hector Hammond and Gorilla Grodd start shooting blasts at Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern starts to hold it off, and he senses something. He's like, what is going on? Gorilla Grodd is holding back. And that's what Gorilla Grodd tells Hector Hammond. Hammond, he's too strong. You must draw mentally upon the power of the meteor itself. And then Hector Hammond says, of course, Grodd, if you insist. And that's when Hal says, God, I can't believe the power. And Hector Hammond says, yes, Green Lantern, more power than I've ever felt. Flying me, filling me, my dear Grodd, you are a fool. And Grodd says, a fool? Hammond, you don't mean you'll betray me. You don't mean you'll take all the power into yourself. And that's when Hector Hammond says, wait, something's wrong. Too much power, too much. And that's what Grodd says, even for you. And that's when you see this huge blast. And Hector Hammond loses all his power. And he says, the radiation, what's happening? Grodd, you did this, you. And then he turns into pretty much a primate in a way. He's pretty much not a human anymore. He doesn't have the mind of a human. And he's just in a way stupid. That's when Grodd says, come to me, my throne. Come to your master, the new master of mine. Ah, Hammond, you arrogant, hairless, evolutionary cul-de-sac. While you plotted schemes to betray me, I probed your mind to see how the meteor could be controlled. Tricked you into thinking I did not envy your enormous brain. Then manipulated you into overloading the meteor and taking the backlash yourself. I said this was a gift for those worthy to receive it, and only one so worthy, Grodd, the king of apes and next lord of the earth. Guys, this is a great image to see Gorilla Grodd with a huge head like Hector Hammond. It's just very crazy, right? But how this Green Lantern number 31 ends, we see Wally. He wakes up and he has a huge head. And he looks at Rex the Wonder Dog, and Rex is knocked out, guys. But that's why he's like, where's Green Lantern? And we see Green Lantern comes in, and now he's turned back into a Neanderthal. And Wally's like, wait, is he gonna help me out? But that's when Green Lantern comes to Wally, and Green Lantern's gonna kill him. So we see Green Lantern is crazy now. He's a Neanderthal, and he's gonna blast Wally West. And Wally's like, what do I do? I'm immobile, but I have this huge head. But that's when Wally, he thinks for a sec. And he's like, wait a second. He's like, I can't even coordinate my arms and my legs. This body's too frail to support my speed. And he tries to move a little bit, but he can't really. And he says, how's my biggest concern though? His ring contains immeasurable power. For the moment, he's still trying to grasp the concept. Once pretty much his brain gets the hang of it, however, it'll be like a Uzi in the hands of a 2-year-old. And that's when Green Lantern tries to actually take control of some leaves above him. But they're yellow leaves, guys. And as you know, at this point, yellow is the weakness of the Green Lantern. So he's kind of getting irritated because he can't control these, like, bananas, actually. It's not leaves, it's bananas. That's when Wally, he starts to realize that, wait, if I'm like Hector Heyman and I can't move, that means I actually have psychic powers. And when Green Lantern tries to drop all these leaves on Wally, he avoids them. And he uses powers to get out of the way real quick and then send one of his socks, his yellow sock or his yellow boot, at Green Lantern and it hits him. And that's when Wally starts to take control of Green Lantern's mind. And what we see is he uses the power, the will of the Green Lantern to reverse the effects of what Grodd did to them. So now Wally and Green Lantern are back to themselves, no longer a Neanderthal and a big brain human. So that's when Wally says, perfect. And Hal says, what? And Wally says, give or take a generation, relax, give your intellect a moment to catch up. You okay? And Hal says, I think, are you? And that's when Wally says, bummed actually. You'll never know how close I was to cracking that whole cold fusion thing. Can we turn this trick on Grodd and Heyman, use the meteor to put them back to normal? And that's when Hal says, sorry, whatever residential energy lingered within it is gone. We'll have to find another way to deal with them. And Wally says, which reminds me, about the ring. And Rex comes flying in, guys. And he says, Flash, Green Lantern, over here. And that's when we see that Danny is still in that one spot in the forest. And Hector Heyman is showing up. So Danny's in trouble, but he can't really alert Green Lantern of the danger. Now, what we see next is Rex then says, our foe, I sense he has come this way. And that's what Green Lantern says, thanks Rex. Wait a minute, I can hear you. You're not telepathing your thoughts. And Wally says, you can speak? How come you didn't talk before? And Rex says, didn't have much to say. But seriously, the meteor's explosion melted and swapped all of our powers. Grodd may have acquired enhanced mental abilities, but I now possess some of his traits, including force of mind. If you could get me close enough to him, I can use that force to subdue him. And Wally says, sounds like a plan, but where did Grodd go? And that's when Rex says, thoughts flashed from his brain as he fled, images of an entire city populated by apes. However, I neither see it nor sense it. And that's what Wally says, you wouldn't. Salvar, their leader, hides Gorilla City behind a visible barrier. That's when Wally starts looking for this barrier and he runs into it. But he's like, Green Lantern, you must figure out a way to get us in there. I found the invisible city, but you gotta find a way to get in. But that's when Green Lantern's like, you know what, let's not even find the door. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way and just barge in. Maybe we'll catch them by surprise. But as every story goes, Green Lantern and Wally do not catch Gorilla Grodd by surprise. Actually, Gorilla Grodd catches them by surprise. So, they get into the city, and we see Gorilla Grodd with all these apes, a whole army of apes, and Gorilla Grodd says, hello, little brains, we've been expecting you. Surrender, resist is futile, in the face of the almighty Grodd. Thanks to my new mental might, the apes of Gorilla City are mine to command. They are my servants and my soldiers. And that's when Wally says, no, the city is ruled by a good and just king. Where is he, Grodd? What have you done with Salvar? And we said Gorilla Grodd is actually controlling Salvar, and Salvar is actually dancing. He's mind controlled completely. That's when Wally says these apes are a problem, right? Your ring will shield us from rifle fire, won't it? And that's what Green Lantern says, normally yes, but these rifles shoot yellow energy beams, remember? And Wally says, crap. Now that's what Green Lantern says. Rex is sneaking around behind Grodd, distract him, keep him talking. That's what Wally says. So where's your partner? Where's Heyman? And Grodd says, Heyman? That scheming, conniving human, speak not of that evolutionary freak. For all Grodd cares, he can roam the jungles of like a wild beast. Now we go back to Danny, who's running away from Hector Heyman, a crazy Hector Heyman. And Danny says, "No, stay away, help!" And that's when we see Bobo show up, guys. Bobo comes flying in with a cape. That Bobo comes swinging in, hits Hector Heyman, and knocks him out. That's when Danny says, "Bobo, where'd you come from?" And Bobo says, "Straight from the kind of dark, dreary desk job any monkey could handle. Hang the bureau of amplified animals. Civil service suits me, Dan. But you know the story. I don't get out of the office and into an action every once in a while. I start climbing the walls. Take this, protect yourself. Me, I gotta go see an ape about a dog." Now, we ship back to Green Lantern and Wally fight off all these apes. Now, that's when Grodd says, "Bow before my will, little brains. Bow before the greatest mind of our age. Kneel before Grodd." And then Green Lantern says, "Can't hold this shield." And Wally says, "You have to. We have to keep Grodd distracted. Stay. There's Rex. He's in the clear. Go, boy. Sick him." Now, we see Rex the Wonder Dog jump on Grodd, and Grodd says, "What? No, get off me, you foul beast. Off." But that's when we see Wally's like, "Well, that's certainly even the odds." And Green Lantern says, "My thoughts exactly. After all, without their master around to call the shots, just how tough can these bad boys be?" So Green Lantern just blasts all these apes, and we see Wally's like, "I don't know, but I'm anxious to find out." So we see Wally and Hal Jordan team up to fight all these apes and take out the entire army. Now, we see Rex the Wind Dog standing right in front of Grodd. And Grodd says, "So, Hound, we meet again. Tell me, what fills you with this enough bravery to attack the majestic Grodd, single pod?" And Rex the Wonder Dog says, "Knowledge, Grodd. The knowledge of force of mind and how to use it." And Grodd touches his head as he's in pain. Now, that's when all these apes are about to attack Hal, and they're like, "Be afraid, human, be afraid." And Hal Jordan says, "Who, me? You want to see me fear? Pal, you're talking to the wrong guy." He says, "Flash," and Wally says, "Right on, Hal, heads up." And he throws all these bananas, start throwing them at these apes, and Wally says, "What's the matter? Thought you guys liked bananas." "No, what about coconuts? Swing, better swing." And that's when we see Hal Jordan's like, "Here, dig." And Wally's like, "What have you got in mind?" And he starts digging. He's like, "I don't trust him, alright? I trust him to leave me with all the dirty work." But that's when he looks like, it's like, wonder what he's playing. Yow! And we see this huge Green Lantern construct of an elephant. And we see Green Lantern riding it, and he takes down all these apes, and they all go into this like hole that Wally West just dug. And Green Lantern traps them in there. It's a really awesome moment, probably the best moment in the entire issue, guys. It's really awesome. Now, that's when Wally says, "Very clever. Is that all of them?" And Hal says, "Near as I can tell. Now, let's go see how Rex is doing." And Wally's like, "Lead the way." Now, we see Rex. He's like, "Submit, Grodd. You know defeat is imminent. And that scares you. I can smell your fear." And Grodd says, "Not fear. Dog. Pity for you. You have lived among the humans too long, Hound. They have domesticated you. They have stolen from you. The killer instinct Grodd knows too well. Your noble spirit is no gift, dog. It's a curse. This is the law of the jungle." That's when we see Bobo. He swings in and attacks Grodd. But that's when Grodd pretty much used a mind blast to hit Detective Chimp back. That's when we see Green Lantern. He's like, "Hey, be careful with that chimp, Grodd. He's a friend." And Wally kicks Grodd in the face. And Wally says, "Are you alright? What happened?" And Rex says, "Nearly had him until he went berserk. His mistake, however, that fit of rage took much out of him." And that's when Grodd starts shrinking. He's not as big anymore. And Rex says, "He's a match for me no longer." Restrains body. It says, "So that I may dampen his mind." And Grodd says, "No, get away. Get out of my head." And Wally says, "Why? Looks like there's plenty of room in there for everybody." And Grodd says, "Get out." And we see Grodd on the floor, defeated. Now, we go to an epilogue, and we see Solvar. He says, "Once more, Flash, you and your friends have succeeded." He's like, "Once more, you pretty much saved us. You saved Gorilla City." And Wally's like, "Well, yeah, we're always happy to help." And Solvar's like, "Hey, you should go back to your home too." And Wally's like, "Yeah, I'm onto that." But that's what Bobo's like, "Nah, you speak for yourself, Wally and Hal. You guys can go home. I'm staying here. I'm gonna hang out with these babes." You see him with these like pretty much female monkeys. He's just chilling with them and having grapes, right? So Bobo's having a great time because he's on vacation. That's what Green Lantern says. "What about Grodd and Heyman? What will you do with them?" And Solvar says, "We're not certain. As yet, we have found no way to cure them, nor to restore their intelligence. We will, however, endeavor to educate their childlike brains, turn them to useful citizens, rather than simplify and abandon them to the mercy of the jungle. We see these bananas, but we see Hector Heyman and Gorilla Grodd start fighting over them. Now, that's when they say, "Farewell, friends, and thank you for promising us to keep the secret of the existence of Gorilla City." That's what Salvar says, the king of Gorilla City. And what it says, hey, people wouldn't believe us if we even told them. That's when Hal Jordan starts flying away. And Wally then looks at Danny and Rex One Dog says, "And what's the scoop with you? You retain Grodd's force of mind." And Rex says, "At least temporarily, it seems." And Wally says, "So what's that mean?" And Danny says, "It means that when he wants to go out, I better let him out." So that means Rex and One Dog will keep an eye on this, and if Gorilla Grodd ever returns, Rex will be there to fight him. And that's how we end Guerrilla Warfare. So guys, that was the conclusion of Guerrilla Warfare, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, explained to you guys. It's a really great conclusion with seeing Gorilla Grodd betray Hector Heyman, and Gorilla Grodd just be like, "Yeah, you thought you were betraying me, but no, now I got your powers." And see Gorilla Grodd just have like a huge head and that different like version of him. Like the artist did a great job. I think, yeah, he turned into this big Gorilla Grodd head in Green Lantern number 31, which the artist there was amazing, right? I really like that scene. Now, also seeing Green Lantern turn to a Neanderthal, Flash get a big head, it's just very creative and really up the stakes in the end of the third part of the storyline, right? Now, going to the conclusion, guys, the finale, which was Flash number 70, seeing Flash or Wally West try to figure out a way, which, by the way, Wally West was great in the storyline. Him, like, pretty much tricking Hector Heyman, and then in this, actually figure out how to beat Green Lantern. So I really like that. That was a great opening scene of Flash number 70. And to see him fight off against Gorilla Grodd, see him fight off against all the apes, and see Rex the Wonder Dog show up, beat Gorilla Grodd, that was just so dope. Like, guys, Rex the Wonder Dog was awesome in this. And guys, Bobo was just legit. Alright, for one, the one guy, Dennis, I think, it was the pretty much military guy, he hurt his ankle and was left, right? But when Green Lantern got controlled by Gorilla Grodd, that whole bell that Green Lantern left, that Dennis Cure rang, was gone. That's when Hector Heyman showed up, and we thought Dennis was going to die, right? I actually thought so. I was like, damn, they're going to kill off this guy, because they left him in a bad situation. But that's when Detective Chick just shows up, saves him, then helps out Rex the Wonder Dog to beat Gorilla Grodd. I really like that. And the reason that Bobo showed up to this whole place was because he just wanted a vacation. He's like, I was getting bored being at the desk, so you know what? Let's go to Africa. I just really like that scene. That was really great. And seeing Detective Chimp at the end with Wally and Hal being like, you know guys, let's go home. And Detective Chimp's like, hey guys, I'm on vacation, so I'm gonna hang out with these babes, which are just other monkeys, right? I'm gonna hang out with these babes, and they're gonna give me grapes. I just really like that. Like, Detective Chimp is one of my favorite characters of the DC Universe, who he just doesn't get. He's kind of underrated. I feel like he should be showing more comics. But yeah, guys, overall, the storyline had great artists, had great writing by pretty much Mark Waid, and the guy who does Green Lantern. And I just really like seeing Wally West and Hal Jordan team up for the first time, alright? And see Hal Jordan start to like Wally. At first, he's like, hey, I think Wally is immature, and then transition to how at the end of the story was like, you know what, you are mature, and you fit into your, pretty much Barry's footsteps. You are a good Flash. I like that, alright? Yeah, guys, I'm gonna give the storyline an 8.5 out of 10. It's an overall solid storyline, not like an amazing storyline, but if you like Gorilla Grodd and you like seeing Flash and Green Lantern's team-ups, then you'll really like this. So I urge you to go pick it up, alright? If you can find it. If you find it, guys, then great, alright? Just get it, alright? Because it's actually very rare to find these comics nowadays. But yeah, guys, like if you get a big thumbs in the channel, make sure to subscribe to my next Mark Waid Flash video. I think we're going to like a Dr. Alchemy storyline next. Yeah, Flash number 71 and 72. So stay tuned for that. But guys, constant love about the storyline. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you think about Gorilla Grodd's like whole plan? What do you think about the Flash and Green Lantern team up? And yeah, are you excited for the Dr. Alchemy storyline I'll be going over next week? Alright? So be here next week, next Sunday, for Flash number 71 through 72. But guys, thanks for watching, and peace out.